Oh, the humanity. How do you like it, F1? It was chaos at the Miami Grand Prix this race weekend. I want to say that this was a seminal moment, a moment of moment, an inflection point, and it matters as far as the changing landscape that is the Drivers' Championship in 2025. We are a quarter of the way through this season, and Oscar Piastri has the whip hand. 131 points. He leads Lando Norris to 115. Look, Lando needs to have a word with himself, because this is different now. Per Peter D wins, a friend of the channel. The thing that he wants to worry about isn't Maximilian Verstappen, it's Oscar Piastri, a resurgent OJ Piastri who now has speed in absolute terms in quali to go alongside his consistency as far as his tyre management and his race pace. You saw how he dealt with Maximilian Verstappen, and Max Verstappen is no slouch, I will have you know. If you want proof of that, 39 seconds he finished adrift today of the race lead, and yet yesterday he was putting it on pole. Max Verstappen is nobody's slouch, and yet Oscar Jack Piastri in that MCL 39 was 40 seconds down the road. Lando Norris needs to take heed. Listen, there are parallels between the way that Lando dealt with Max as versus OJ with Max and Lewis last race, Saudi Arabian Grand Prix round 5. You saw Oscar Piastri didn't hesitate. He overtook the 7-time champion with impunity, without compunction. It was simple. He didn't second guess himself. He just does. Lando Norris, by comparison, made a right hotchpotch of overtaking, and ostensibly so as Sir Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari that is an SH1T box of a car. Should I go and give him DRS? Let's give him DRS this time round. It takes him 4 or 5 laps to realise what it would take Oscar 1 lap, and therein lies the difference. We can have the conversation about mental fortitude between now and the time when the cows come home, but the problem is that Oscar is now in his 3rd season and he's expediting in real time for his learning curve, picking up all of these things like a sponge. He has a brilliant team around him in Mark Webber. So too the bloody Olympic level Tom Stollard race engineer. He's now got a bloody god tier physio on his side as well, and all of them are pulling in the same direction. Meanwhile, Lando Norris, it feels like Lando, aka Dustin from Stranger Things, is on an island by himself. Ergo, the gap between him and Oscar Piastri is doing one of these by the second. OJ has now won 4 of 6 races. The momentum, therefore, is with him, and Lando will need to make some changes forthwith, soon, now, in real time. Lando said of the interaction with Max that it's just the way it is with Max. It's crash or don't pass. Unless you really get it right, you really get it perfect, you've got no chance. Well, OJ gets it perfect as near as makes no difference every single occasion in the overtake. You'll recall Baku, forensic overtake. Some say the overtake of the year in 2024. And then lest we forget the chicane, the second chicane at the Italian Grand Prix. Round the outside on Lando Norris, where you shouldn't even be able to overtake. Again, I put it to you this way. OJ Piastri isn't as fast as Lando, but everything that he lacks versus Lando, as far as their absolute terms pace, he has on Lando in terms of his ability and his bravery in the overtake. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to matter if the two of them are still making errors of the unforced variety in qualifying. Lando continues, he says, it's Max in a post-race interview of the dalliance between himself and Max, that it's Max, he can do whatever he wants. What I've got to do now, I've got to out-qualify him instead. No kidding, Sherlock. We've been saying this on this channel for about 2 years. If there is a line of least resistance to beating Max Verstappen and you have the quickest car on the grid, then you need to put all your eggs in the qualifying basket. Do as Sebastian Vettel used to do. Lights the flag victory every single time. But Lando Norris doesn't want to listen to us or anybody else because he wants to plough his own furrow. And therein lies the reason why Oscar Piastri is the favourite leading the championship as at the time of writing. Oh, and by the way, You'll forgive scorched earth, Cameron. What are Ferrari doing here? This is nonsense. I know that the Sir Lewis Hamilton fans and extremists can do one of these, be abbot of unreason sometimes, but on this occasion, I would contend that they are entirely justified in railing against the Scuderia Ferrari nonsense. The context is this. Rob Smedley's told you already, if you win for the Tifosi, if you are successful in their red cars with the yellow badges and black prancing horse atop, you will never ever need to buy a meal or a drink in Maranello, in Rome, in Fiorano. If you lose, however, they will spit at you in the streets. Frederick Verstappen is in his third year now, and there is still no silverware. There are team principals who have been gone out the door for less than what Frederick Verstappen is doing. It is chaos at Scuderia Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton is telling them, what are you doing? We have a tyre offset. I'm on mediums. The man in front, Charles Leclerc, is on hards. What are we doing here, Ferrari? The circumstance was reversed in China, and Sir Lewis, being the 7-time champion that he is, strategic mind that he is, said, let's just invert. I don't have a dog in this fight. Charles Leclerc can go. He has the tyre offset advantage. Here at Miami Grand Prix, what did they do? They dilly-dallied. They sat on it. They waited until every sinew of advantage from Sir Lewis on those yellow labelled medium compound tyres had gone out the window, sacrificed now at the altar of the dirty air even, of none other than his teammate, modern day Jean Alesi. What are we doing here? It is nonsense, chat. Honestly, and that's why Sir Lewis Hamilton, some people will rally against Sir Lewis Hamilton, saying that he needs to be a nice boy and play nice with Scuderia Ferrari. I understand that, but if you can forgive that dude, a fire-breathing dragon, chariots of fire settings, driving this red car, an SH1T box of an F1 car, a gazillion miles an hour, and being dealt these bloody poor strategic cards by his team. What are we doing here? That's why Lewis Hamilton's saying, when they said to him, want to keep the DRS to Charles, he was like, man, you got, what are we doing? You guys, when they asked him about making the bloody switch with Charles Leclerc, he said, why don't you have a tea break while you're at it, thinking about it, as if this isn't Formula One, where decisions have to be made just like that. Again, if you harbour aspirations of winning races and championships. Sir Lewis snapped at them again, didn't he? He said afterwards, this is not good teamwork, even. That's all that I'm going to say. At China, I did the right thing. So what's Charles doing now? You lot are sitting on your hands as if we've got time to spare. This is Formula One. Lights the flag victory as quick as possible, as efficiently as possible. And Scuderia Ferrari doing everything apart from that. Adami came over the radio and said, Carlos Sainz is 1.4 seconds behind you. And Sir Lewis Hamilton at this point had absolutely enough. He said, you want me to let him past as well? Again, super tongue-in-cheek. But Sir Lewis, quite rightfully at this stage, had been done. He was vexed, fuming. He'd had it up to here, and quite rightfully so. In the post-race press scrum, Lewis Hamilton said, you know what, all I want to do, I just want to win. Listen, the car's not good enough. We're having these conversations in front of the world's media and fans, and it's going to get techier than techie things. I did what I did in China because I knew that was for the best of the team, and now the team's ifing and butting when I have the tyre offset advantage. What's that all about? Well, here, let me tell you what it's about. That Charles Leclerc, Scuderia Ferrari, is his team. It's built in his image. So what they didn't want to do is invert. They've seen that Charles Leclerc put 30 seconds over the course of 50 laps on Sir Lewis at the previous race. So in their mind, he is their guy. But what they fail to do is adapt for the circumstance in real time. It's not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable to change. And this is rubbish. And let me tell you why it gets worse. Have a check for Frederick Verstappen. Look, let me say it this way. The God tier ones, the best Ferrari team principals in recent years, Jean Todt mentioned no names, it's been their ability to circle the wagons around the operational guys, protect them from the exec bods, the C-suite level decision makers, the politics at Scuderia Ferrari, their red cars with the yellow badges and black prancing horses atop. Protect the bods that are doing the racing from all of this nonsensory and politics. Frederick Vasseur is not doing that very well. Jean Todt did it brilliantly. Frederick Vasseur, not so much. And here's how you know why. In his interview after the race, in stark contrast to Sir Lewis Hamilton, who was very rosy, very stoic, and congrats to him for that. He's to be applauded for that, because if that were me, I would be a fire-breathing dragon and they would need to slay for me. It would get techier than techie things. Lewis was super calm. Frederick Vasseur, when asked about the race, about the messages from Sir Lewis Hamilton, Frederick Vasseur said this: I think we executed well for our strategy. What are we doing? How? In what world is this dude living? That couldn't be further removed from the reality. You are asking F1 fans around the world to disbelieve the evidence of their own eyes and ears. That was good execution. I would hate to see what poor execution looks like then. You dilly-dallied on a tyre offset. The dirty air ruined Sir Lewis Hamilton's advantage, and that's when you pulled the switcheroony. What? Only to then second guess and do the other move and then leave Sir Lewis Hamilton in the hands with bloody Carlos Sainz, the man who he superseded. Oh, the irony. Breathing down his neck, nearly taking him out on the last lap of the race. Whatever happened to DRS? Whatever happened to doing a Singapore 2023 and using Charles Leclerc, just like Carlos Sainz did with Lando Norris, using Charles Leclerc to drag Lewis Hamilton out of harm's way, just as we thought Sir Lewis Hamilton was being used to take Charles Leclerc out of harm's way, out of the reach of one Carlos Sainz Jr. No, they didn't do that. They left Lewis high and dry. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a travesty of justice. They will need to sort this out soon, chat. Lest Ferrari wish to be called a disgrace, that they have been, both executionally as far as their operational infrastructure and most definitely as far as their low-level decision making. They've been brilliant in one segment of F1. Pit stops, 2 seconds flat as near as makes no difference every single time. Props, standing ovation, round of applause. Outside of that though, the car is a dud. Their decision making has been rubbish. Now they can't even maximise for a difference in strategy and a Sir Lewis Hamilton cheeky tyre offset. They don't know which side, on which side even their bread is buttered. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why they're going to fail at the altar of consistently poor performance, not in one field but across the board, all except the fabled 2-second pit stops. Ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, what are we doing here?